The Strange Case of Shirley Carter. The Carters were a regular small-town family. Bill and Shirley lived and raised their children in Marion County, a farming community. The small farming town housed a little over 300 people. The couple shared 3 children together, Yana, Bill Jr. and Jason. The first 2 children moved away from home. It left only Jason, who moved a mile down the road from his parents' house. He also became a farmer, got married to a lady called Shirley, and having 2 children with her. In today's video, we will be trying to figure out which one of the family members killed Shirley. Greetings and welcome to our channel. In today's video, I bring you the strange case of Shirley Carter. Please subscribe to support the channel. If you don't want to miss any of our uploads, press the alarm bell and turn on YouTube notifications on your phone. By the time 2015 came, Shirley and Bill had been married for 52 years. It was the same year that the unfortunate incident happened. On June 19, 2015, the couple performed their regular routine. Shirley would wake up at 6 a.m. and wake up her husband at 7 a.m. The couple would then drive to the store for a cup of joe. After that, Bill would drop off Shirley at home and drive to his farm to do some farming. It was around 11 a.m. when Bill received a call from Yana saying Shirley was dead. Yana said that it was Jason who found their mum like that. She then asked her dad to call 911. Billy did call 911 and request for an ambulance. What was odd was the fact that Jason had called his sister to call their father. Moreover, Jason had already made a 911 call. Funny enough, when Jason made the call, he said his mum looked like she had been laying there in their home for about 2 hours. How did he know that? When Bill got home, Jason was outside making a phone call. Inside the house was Shirley, lying on the floor, dead, without any shoes. Shirley had been shot in what looked like a robbery. There were 2 bullet holes in the kitchen, 1 in the fridge, 1 in the floor. The whole place was a mess. Drawers had been pulled out, papers had been scattered everywhere. There were 2 bullet holes in her chest. One of the bullets was shot while she was lying on the floor, probably to make sure she was dead. Initially, detectives thought Shirley might have walked in on a home invasion after she was dropped off. That theory changed when they noticed that Shirley's purse was left untouched. None of her jewelry was stolen either. If Shirley had chanced on a home invasion, the assailant may have indeed been too surprised to continue his search for valuables. However, the shells of the bullets that were shot were missing, meaning someone had picked them up. The person had time to pick the shells up, but not the obvious purse. Also, Shirley had made a call after getting into the house. This ruled out the theory of a burglar. Rather, Shirley had let the person in after entering the house, someone she was close and comfortable with. It was a small town and people hardly locked their doors. This was because everyone in the town knew each other. Both Bill and Jason were questioned. Jason's questioning lasted for days. This is because of the statement he had made in the 911 call. He had said that she looked like she'd been lying there for 2 hours. The detectives asked him how could he tell, and he said her blood was not bright red, but rather maroon. He was ordered to take a lie detector test, which he failed. But then again, those things aren't 100% legit. The police took fingerprints at the crime scene and took all the guns that the Carters had in their home. Unsurprisingly, 1 rifle was missing. It was presumed to be the one that was used to kill Shirley. For months, the police made no arrests in connection to the crime. The case was slowly becoming a cold one. Bill had a solid alibi and was eliminated from the suspect list. The most obvious suspect was Jason Carter. Jason had knowledge to where his father kept the guns. He could easily have taken one, killed his mother, and disposed of it. Jason had a reason for being there that day. He had come to cut the lawn of his parents' house. However, what could have been his motive? Bill and Shirley's land was very huge, costing millions of dollars. As the only child around, Jason was going to inherit the land one day, and he knew that because his parents had told him. Bill was convinced that his son had murdered his wife. He even hired a private detective to investigate the matter. It turns out that Jason had been sleeping around and even keeps a phone hidden in the fuse box of his truck. This he used to call his secret lover with. Jason knew his father frowned upon these actions. The private detective also found out that Jason was in some financial debt and needed his father to bail him out with his money. However, if his father found out about the adultery, he would not have helped him. Presumably, Shirley had found out about his affair and he had murdered her to conceal it. Yet still the police did not believe this was enough evidence. Bill and the rest of the family filed a civil suit against Jason for wrongful death in January 2016. He said he had no doubt his son had committed the murder. The case moved to trial in April 2017. Bill testified and said that he had spent $700,000 on the lawsuit. Everything the police and the private detectives found was used in the case against Jason. He had the motive, the time, and was over $500,000 in debt. He admitted to the affair. However, he claims it was just that, an affair. As for the debt, it was a normal occurrence for farmers. Debts racked up would eventually be paid. The jury was not convinced. After deliberating for 2.5 hours, Jason was found guilty of murdering his mother. He was ordered to pay $10 million to his father. This was a civil case and not a criminal one. This means that Jason was not going to prison. Yet still, the fine was a very hefty one. Bill knew that his son wouldn't be able to even pay a penny at all. It didn't matter to him though. His goal was to prove that his son had indeed killed his wife. If a civil case found him guilty, the criminal one might also do the same. And it did. 2 days after he was deemed liable, he was arrested and charged with first-degree murder. The second trial began in March 2019. Jason was offered a deal for 5 years imprisonment, which he turned down. Despite the outcome of the first trial, he was still hopeful about being proven innocent. The case was borderline on a circumstantial one. True, there were people with less incriminating evidence sent away, but this was hardly no evidence at all. The defence team showed a video of Jason at the grain silo, located about an hour away from his parents' house. They said it was impossible for Jason to have been present at the time of the murder. A medical examiner said that Shirley had been dead for 2 hours when she was found. That's not long after she entered the house. There was no DNA, no fingerprints or ballistic evidence found from the scene of the crime that matched Jason. It was impossible to conclude whether he was or was not responsible for his mother's murder. The evidence was just not enough, and the jury was not convinced. Jason was found not guilty of Shirley's murder. Bill, of course, was not happy with the verdict. He loved his son, he still did. It was difficult for him to see Jason handcuffed and shackled, but he believed Shirley should have the justice she deserved. Jason was very happy with the verdict. He said that in 4 years, his family had been torn apart. He didn't have a relationship with his father anymore. Well, the case of Shirley Carter has long since become a cold case. The police are still unsure about who shot and killed her. There are some rumours that the police had failed to follow up on some possible leads. It could have also been a robbery gone wrong, but because of their tunnel vision on Carter, they didn't pursue any of the leads that they had. An interview took place between the DCI and an inmate, Robert. He claimed that 2 men, John and Joel, had shot Shirley in a robbery because they had been spooked. Jason, after his verdict, sued his dad, the state, and the investigators. He wanted the $10 million fine to be lifted. The court threw out the case and said the fine still stands. Bill Jr., the middle child, attacked his father in 2020 after an argument. He was arrested and charged with assault. He said he had left home on foot and his father followed him in a truck. He admitted to hitting Bill on the ground and kicking him twice before running away. The rifle used in killing Shirley still remains a mystery. It was never found and still hasn't been. The father and son still live a mile away from each other and they see each other often. It is, after all, a very small town. To date, Bill still believes that his son murdered Shirley. It would be pretty awkward when they meet. It looks like we'll never know who killed Shirley. We have come to the end of today's video. As usual, let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. Don't forget to like and share this video to your friends and family. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.